Hi, everybody. So we've done a lot of different projects with Scratch at this point, and a lot of them have been around things, we've got images of spaceships, they're moving around, they're shooting lasers at things. I want to just do two lessons that show you something totally different that Scratch can do that I think is kind of cool. So let me just go to this project and hit the button. So let me show you this little project that I made, and then we'll make a version of it. We hit the green flag, and it says, what's your name? And I'm going to put in Catherine and hit the checkbox. What's my favorite color? Blue. And what's my favorite game? I'm going to say Tetris. And then it says, hello, Catherine. I'm glad you like the color blue. Tetris is my favorite game too. So I just want to show you that that's possible, and interactive stories are possible, and all sorts of cool things are possible. Ideally, I'd like you to make this your own and put in different sentences and ask different questions. But let me just teach you how I did this first. Okay, the first thing we always do in a project is delete the cat, right? Well, for once, we're not going to delete the cat. The cat gets to stay. He's the only sprite we're going to make, and we're just going to do some cool things with code. So we have our sprite selected, and the first thing we always do is when green flag is clicked, right? So let's just do that and get that out of the way. If you're doing this tutorial, it means you've done lots of Scratch already. So let's say when the green flag is clicked, we're going to do something. Now, there's something we're going to put in later that just wipes out all the old answers, but let's just go to the fun stuff. So we're going to have it ask a question. And so much of this is built into Scratch, it's very, very easy to do. In my opinion, it's easy to do because all we have to do is find the thing that says ask. Now, ask, where is that? Is that a looks thing? Is that a sensing thing? What is it? So let's look around. What is it? Okay. What is it? Well, if it's asking a question, take two. If it's asking something, then it's sensing. Sensing means it's looking for something, right? If you're sensing something touching you, something looking at you, you're waiting for something outside of you to come to you. So that's why asking a question is under sensing, because we're asking and then the user does something. So let's say ask. Ask, what is your name? Well, luckily, that's the first question that the cat is going to ask us. So luckily, we don't have to change that one at all. If we did, we would type it in here and we'd change it. And so then it's going to wait, and it's going to wait for that answer. Now, what's interesting is that I'm just going to take this and drag this out now. See where it says answer? Well, this is where we're getting into real coding. It's easy, but it's real coding because what we do in programming is that it's going to ask a question and it's going to wait for an answer. Well, that thing that people typed in, like I typed in Catherine, it goes somewhere. And I'm going to show you where it goes. But that answer is the answer to this question. So we're going to say, what is your name? And then it's going to do something with that answer. Okay, we're going to add it to a list. Okay, so this is going to become clear in a second. Just follow the next couple steps, and then you're going to see it, and it's going to make sense. So we go to data, which is where a lot of the exciting stuff happens. Okay, so we're in data, and we're going to say make a list. Because remember, I said we're going to take all these questions and we're going to add them to a list. In fact, you know what? Let me just take two. And we're going to add them to a list. Let me show you a little bit what my project looks like and kind of show you how this works. I've hidden this for now, but let's take a look at my project with this answer list not hidden. So what's your name? I'm going to say John. What's my favorite color? Red. What's your favorite game? Checkers. Hello, John. I'm glad you like the color red. Checkers is my favorite game too. See, here's our list though. See how it's pulling from this list? Okay, so we're going to make a list too, and we're going to call it answers. Okay, so you're going to say data, new list, answers, and then just keep it this, okay? Okay, now all this cool stuff shows up. If you don't make that list, this is going to be empty, and you're going to not know where to pull things from. So we've done that. So now this is what we've got. Let's review. When the green flag is clicked, it's going to ask, what's your name? And the answer is right here in this little oval. Well, let's do something with it. Let's add this answer to this list. See, we've got a list box now too. Now, when we publish the game and show people, we're going to hide it by going like that. See where I'm checking and unchecking? But let's do that. Now we're going to say, add the answer to the answer list. Well, where is that over here? I don't see it anywhere. Okay, well, let's make it work. Add thing. I don't know who's thing. I have no idea what in Scratch thing would possibly be. But let's just get rid of it and say add answer to answer list. Okay, here's our answers. All right, so when clicked, ask, what is your name? Add answer to the answer list. Let's try it. What's my name? Bob. Ah, it did it. It did it. See, it did it right here. All right, that's part one. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's part one, and I'm going to show that thing on the screen where it says stop watching the video and do this part. Don't just keep watching the video, stop and do it. Okay, so at this point, it works. It asks what's your name, and when you type something in, it adds it to the answer thing. Now we're going to make it spit it back out, because in my project, if we may just review for 1 second, let me hide my code a little bit. It's going to say, okay, now we're just going to say A, B, C. We're just going to do quick testing. Now watch, it says, hello A, I'm glad you like the color B, and C is my favorite game too. Let's call that spitting it back out, because I like to give things pretty names like spitting. All right, so now it's asked, and now it's going to say. So now say is not sensing anymore, right? It's funny, you think say is a sound thing, but it's not. It's a looks thing, whatever, because it says it on the screen, and you're looking at it saying it on the screen, and you're not saying it in sound bites. Okay, so say something for 2 seconds. You can make this longer. It's up to you. So this is the real programming part. This is the kicker. This is the big bagaga of this tutorial. Are you ready? Yes, you're ready. You've done lots of Scratch stuff. You can do what's about to happen. Go into operators, the green part. Okay, are you ready? We're in the green part, and we are going to go to this place where it says join. Join. What could join possibly be? Join means join two things together, just like Legos. We're going to stick one Lego to another Lego, okay? So watch this. This is where it all gets a little bit off the hook. Okay, so we're going to say something, and we're going to stick. But here's the thing. We want to do more than just say one thing. We want to like jam some code into this little tiny purple line, okay? And I've seen Scratch projects that have 20 of these green things stuck on top of each other like tiles, and it's crazy. But with this join thing, you can just keep joining and joining and joining and just join giant stuff together. So anyway, let's pop it in there. So say, join, hello. Remember, okay, so remember how my thing said hello, John, or whatever you typed in? So we're going to say hello. And this thing here, we don't want to say hello world. We want to say Bob, the answer number one. See how it says number one? Okay, So here, answer. All right. So how are we going to pull this Bob thing, this answer, whatever the answer is, because it's not always going to be Bob. It's going to be your name. It's going to be your friend's name. How are we going to put that in here? Well, what we're going to do is go back to our data, and it says insert, wait, sorry, take two. Okay, and see where it says item 1 of answers. Let's just pull this aside so we could take a look at it. This, see it says 1, that's item 1. And this is answers, this is answers. So they pop it all in there for us and make it easy. But I want you to understand what we're doing here, because if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to expand upon this and do more. So say, remember how it spits it back out? Hello. So item 1 of answers is Bob. So if we want to say Bob, we're going to stick item 1 of answers right in here. So what do you think it's going to do when it hits this line of code? It's going to say hello, and then item 1, whatever it is right here. Let's try it. Okay, stop. Okay, now what went wrong? We didn't clear it out. Remember I was saying we're going to have to clear it out? This is where we have to clear it out. Okay, but I just wanted you to see why. I hate when tutorials have me do the wrong step, but forgive me. All right, well, how do we clear out Bob now? Because one thing with Scratch is it does not clear things out. All you do, go into your control, sorry, take two. Go into events right here and say okay, take 3. Go into data and say delete. See where it says delete? Delete. Drag it down and say all. Delete all answers. Sorry, you guys know this though. We have to wipe things out when we do it. Let's try it again. See, it wiped it out. Isn't that nice? Okay, now we're going to say Jill. Hello, Jill. It works. It works. It works. It works. It works. It works. Okay, celebrate. Okay, you basically have the gist of it. All we're going to do now is add more examples. So here's the challenge. If you think you can add another question. So we're going to add a second question. We're going to say, what's your favorite color? And it's going to say, I like that color too. If you think you can give this a try without watching the tutorial, take the challenge. And you know what happens. You get your extra badges. It means you get more free time. The world of happiness opens to you. So if you think you can make more questions and answers, raise your hand, say, I want to take the challenge, and we're going to shut off the video and give it a shot. Okay, if you're still here, it means you want some help and support, and I will help you and support you as we add a few more questions. But the good news is all we're going to do is repeat what we've already done before. So let's just knock it out and whip right through this thing, okay? So all we do to add a few more questions and to spit out more stuff is just repeat what we've done, okay? But let's keep all the spitting back out down here and all the asking up here. So we're going to go back to sensing. We're going to ask 2 more questions, right? We're going to ask, what's your favorite color and what's your favorite game? So let's go to ask, and let's drag, just to save ourselves a little time, drag in 2 of them. And let's kind of keep them floating so we don't think that we're done with our code. Let's drag 2 answers, because you can see we've got an answer here. We're going to need 2 more answers here. Let's go into our data and let's add 2 more adds. Add and add. Let's go into our purple looks and add 2 more says and say. And come on, don't stick. You jerk, don't stick. There. He needs a little space. Say. And then the last thing, you jerk, don't stick. Ah, you're a sticky jerk. All right, we got to start scrolling down here. We're doing some real coding if we're scrolling down. Okay, well, I think these two are going to have to stick. I just don't have enough room. The last thing I'm going to add is 2 more joins. Okay? All right, so now I'll tell you what, this is the mini challenge. If you think you've dragged this all out and now you can put this together like a puzzle, then you can still raise your hand and say, I want to still take the challenge. I want to put this together like a puzzle. Okay, let's do it. The second question is, what is your favorite color? Let's type it in. What is your favorite color? And then this third question is, what is your game? Okay. Now, we just say, ask, add answer to answers. Ask, add answer to answers. So we say ask, add, let's drag that over here. Remember, you're just going to copy this one. So put answer to the answers. Now, so this, what Scratch knows is what is your favorite color is going to become answer to. So let's test it right here. What is your name? John. What's your favorite color? Blue. So now this second question is going to be answer item 2. It just numbers it automatically. And then we're going to ask about the game. And we're going to add the answer to the answer list. So let's test it again. I'm just going to say A, B, C. Great. Okay. So they added it, and now it's just time to spit it back out. So we're going to say our say. Okay. You ready to do some copying? You ready to do what we did before? There's a tiny, tiny variation on this because let's go back to our project. So I wish I could just freeze frame this for you, but it would say, what's your name? B, C. Hello, A. I'm glad you like color B. Okay, freeze. I'm glad you like color B. So then it's going to say back, hello, A. I'm pointing at A. I'm glad you like color. So we have to say, I'm glad you like, and then make sure you have a space in there. Otherwise, it's going to not have a space. So in this case, the sentence came first. Hey, we were switching the order. Let me just show you that. Okay. Now we have to add 2 more lines of code. So let's say, okay, the next thing we need to drag over is 2 more of item of answers. And we're under data, item of answers. Okay, so say, we can put these all in now. And let's give ourselves a little room. Say, I'm glad you like, and we're going to okay, take 2. Okay. Okay, you guys, I made a small mistake. I'm going to edit it out. But if you typed in something here, forgive me, I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, what we're going to do is say, like I think I typed in, I'm glad you like blue. Instead, in the say little box, as you know, Scratch is stretchy. So when we stick this here, it's going to stretch and it's going to make room for it. So we're going to say, I'm glad you like, and make sure you have a space. And then what do we put in here? The answer, right? Because otherwise it's going to say, I'm glad you like world. We don't want it to say, I'm glad you like world. I'm glad you like answer 2. Okay, so let's stick an answer 2. item, and then there is no drop down, you have to type it in. I'm glad you like item 2. Let's try it. Let's say X, Y, Z. Hello X, I'm glad you like Y, which is answer 2. And last but not least, and we're going to be very close to finishing our project, we're going to say answer 3 is my favorite game too. Say join. Let's see if I could do it here. Item 3. Item 3 space, otherwise there's going to be no space, is my favorite game too. You want to be fancy, you put a comma. All right, let's test it. I'm going to say Catherine. I'm going to go all the way with this one. Pink. Chess. Hello, Catherine. I'm glad you like pink. Chess is my favorite game too. Woohoo! We did it. It works, it works, it works. All right, you've completed the lesson minus one little thing. Let's get rid of answers so it looks kind of cool. All right, share your project. Share it right here. I want to see it. I want to see it. And when you give it a name, I want your name on it. So it's saved. You had a minute. And I'm going to call it Catherine. Oops, hold on. It's shared. So sorry. And now we're going to rename it. Okay, it's loading. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Okay, see inside. And now we're going to call it Catherine. And I call it ask, answer. That's what I call it, because you're asking questions, you're giving answers. All right, there we go. Thank you for watching. And make sure you show this to a friend, because it's a cool thing for them to try.